Argument with Substance by Aidan Delaney and Genevieve Smith-Nunes. Hello and welcome to the first video in the series titled Propositional Logic. In this series of videos we explore the reasons for developing the formal system of propositional logic, and we look at deduction using propositional logic. In this video we're particularly interested in the roots of Boolean and propositional logic. Propositional logic, like all logic in the Western tradition, can trace its roots to the ancient world. Ancient Greek scholars such as Plato and Socrates from around 500 BC are associated with the development of logic. By contrast, Boolean logic is much more modern, owing its foundation to George Boole in the middle of the 19th century. Though Boolean logic was discovered later, a modern view of logic considers Boolean logic as a foundational part of propositional logic. We will use the phrases Boolean logic and propositional logic interchangeably. Propositional logic is a formal system of logic. By referring to the system as formal, we mean that it is a very well-defined set of rules. Formal logical systems come from the study of argument. We're interested in knowing when somebody is making a valid argument or when somebody is simply spouting gibberish. As an example, the following is a valid argument. It starts with statement of fact and then draws a conclusion. All men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Therefore Socrates is mortal. Hardly the most groundbreaking of arguments, but it illustrates that an argument starts with some statements of fact called the propositions. In the end, we come up with some conclusion. If the steps in the argument can be produced using a particular set of rules, then the argument is valid. It is important to note that the set of rules is part of the argument itself. An argument cannot be valid unless we know the set of rules that we are using. A logically valid argument is in essence a game governed by a well-defined rules. Here's another example of an argument. All Martians are mortal. Marvin is a Martian. Therefore Marvin is mortal. This argument is also valid as the consequence can be reached from the propositions by the application of a rule. However, this argument is not sound, as plainly there are no Martians. So an argument is valid if it follows all the rules of argument. Furthermore, an argument is sound if it's valid and all of the propositions are true. In life, love and politics, we are often interested in arguments that are sound. It is interesting, though, to see that the validity of an argument is not related to whether the argument makes sense in the real world. In this way, we have managed to separate the structure of the argument from the meaning of the argument. This separation of structure from meaning, often called syntax and semantics, is the key to logic. So in conclusion, Boolean logic and propositional logic can be seen as the study of argument. We are interested in building a set of rules which can be used to justify whether a given conclusion follows from a given set of facts. An argument is valid if it follows the rules, and an argument is sound if it is valid and the original facts are true. In the next video, Formalizing Argument, we will discuss the reasons why we want to develop a valid set of rules for argument.